Yes, begin again. All right, so our speaker for today is somebody who always kind of pokes us in unusual ways to to reflect and think about what we're doing and who we are. And generally afterwards, we appreciate it. It's Timber Hawkeye. Come on up, Timber.
I don't want to gloss over what Brian was first talking about, the importance of connection, and that loneliness is a epidemic of sorts. And whether we connect here on Sundays or go dancing or just meet with a friend to play cribbage or go for a walk. If you have a friend with a dog, go with them for a walk. I was talking to a friend about how our generation was part of the clubbing generation, going out clubbing and dancing and all that stuff, and it was such a great way to meet people and get together with people, and just sometimes just after a week of working, just having so much fun and just coming together. And they were talking about this with a bunch of younger people who were in the room, and the younger people are like, ugh, clubbing, why would you do that? Why is that? That's not fun at all. And we're like, what do you mean it's not fun? They're like, well, it's just a bunch of people standing around on their phones. Yeah, we didn't have that. We had each other. And so I was thinking about I don't know if I told you about my friend Carol, who lost her husband after a long battle of cancer. And her son called her up, and who had moved to Europe, and he said, why don't you come and move in with me? And he didn't want her to be alone. And she said, sure. So on the flight over, he started describing the house to her and all this stuff. And she's like, I love it. He just laughed. He's like, you haven't even seen it yet. And she said, how much I love it has nothing to do with what color you painted it and how you decorated the room. It has everything to do with the fact that I've already chosen ahead of time to love it. And I'm creating that experience, and it doesn't matter how you arrange the furniture or anything, I've already decided that I love it. And so that touches on what the inspirational reading was about, deciding our experience. And it's really, our thoughts create our experiences. And she decided ahead of time to love it. I send out an email on the first of every month. And this month was really because it's the beginning of a new year. It's a lot of beginnings, a lot of new things unfolding. And I thought about how can we prepare ourselves for what's to come so that we are not so shaken or rocked by it. And I thought, and I kept the email short because I had just had surgery and I couldn't type. So I'm like, all right, I'll keep this short. I thought, if you're going to Antarctica, you're going to pack a really heavy jacket. You're going to pack some gloves, a scarf, right? Boots. And if you were going on a vacation, the tropical island of Palau, all you're going to need is some flip-flops and a tank top and some shorts, and you're set. If you're going to the Pacific Northwest, to Seattle, you're going to need to pack some layers. I lived in Seattle for 5 years, and we said if you don't like the weather, wait 10 minutes. And it's because the weather fluctuates from really hot. As we get into this new year, to this new experience, to every day when we start over, what are you bringing with you? Are you going to bring with you your fears, your anxieties, your concerns, your anger? Because that's what's going to come out. Or are you going to pack with you your trust, your faith, your belief, your hope, your dreams? And the experience you have this year has nothing to do with what's going to unfold. It has everything to do with what you bring with you. Kind of like Carol and her son's place in Europe. It has nothing to do with how he decorated it. It has everything to do with what we bring to the table. And it makes me think of, what are we bringing with us that we know is detrimental to us, and yet we refused to let it go. We refused to leave it behind in the previous year or whatever it is. And we had this discussion circle about it in Ventura. And many of the suggestions or the things people listed that they're bringing with them, like, oh, but I'm really scared of what's going to unfold starting next week, or I'm really worried, and all this stuff. Everything was about the future. They're already getting out of the present moment and already predicting how terrible it's going to be. And I'm like, but you have no idea. Well, but I'm trying to do this, and I'm like, and I realized just after listening to so many people that I'm like, you guys are all control freaks. You're just trying to control what is out of your control. And so the only thing that you can control is your perspective, your viewpoint, your attitude about it. And it's the one thing you're not controlling. You're trying to control other people, you're trying to control outcomes, but the one thing you can control is you. And so the awareness of, oh yeah, I'm in the future, I'm already thinking ahead, that brings you out of the present moment where everything is okay, everything is all right. You are exactly where you need to be right now. And I love the story that if you're walking around with a cup of coffee and somebody bumps into you, coffee's going to spill everywhere. And if I was to ask, well, why did coffee go everywhere? Most people would say, well, because somebody bumped into me. But that's the wrong answer. The reason coffee went everywhere is because that's what was in your cup. If you had water in your cup, water would go everywhere. And so as we go through life, and life is going to challenge us and bump against us and rub us the wrong way and give us challenges, and it will, what's going to come out of you? Anger, frustration, resentment, rage, self-pity? Or is it going to be love and hope and trust and patience? You are 100% responsible for what's in your cup, or what you fill yourself up with. That's why I love coming here on Sundays. We fill ourselves up so that when life bumps up against us, what's going to drip or fall or spill out of us is love and compassion and kindness. And if it doesn't, if what spills out of you is rage and animosity and judgment, that's because that's what you're filling yourself up with. It's the one thing you can control. What am I consuming? We are what we eat. And we don't just eat with our mouths, we eat with our eyes, we eat with our ears, we're constantly consuming. And if you're consuming gossip and anger and frustration and judgment and all that, that's what's going to come out of you. So while, yes, loneliness is a problem, and you need to spend time with other people, be selective. Because who you surround yourself with, what you listen to, the company you keep has a lot to do with then your view of the world once you leave them. Having said that, sometimes you can't control it. You have some family members, friends, neighbors who are just negative, who are just dumping on you. And instead of saying, well, that's toxic, I don't want to have anything to do with them, then you're going to start cutting people out of your life, and before you know it, your circles are going to be really small. So when I notice that I have people in my life who are negative and that they love listening to themselves complain, whatever it is, instead of cutting them out, I go, well, what if the reason they're in my life is so that I can be that positive influence in their life? So when they call me, they don't listen to me complain and whine and judge. They hear the positivity, the light. And so why would I deprive them of the light? If anyone needs it, it's them, right? And so why stay in an echo chamber of listening to complaining and worry and concern about what might happen, as opposed to creating an environment where, yes, unpleasant things happen, but they're not the only thing that's happening. So like zooming out and seeing like there's a lot of really good stuff there too. But if you're not looking at it, if you're not looking for it, you won't find it. Whatever you look for, you're going to find. If you're going to go home and I'm going to tell you, I want you to see all the red cars on the road today, you're going to start noticing a bunch of red cars. But if I was going to tell you to look for all the purple cars, you'll see all the purple cars because you see what you look for. So look for the good in the world and you will see it. Look for the horrible stuff in the world and you will see that too. So for lack of anything grand or incredible or bigger to say, if you want to see how terrible the world is, watch the news. If you want to see how incredible the world is, go out in nature. I think that's all I have to say for you today. Yeah. It's all about you. You're responsible. Don't blame anybody else. It's you. It's your perspective. You decide what kind of year you're going to have. Nobody else. Nothing else. It's you. I know that sucks because then you don't have anybody else to blame. But it's also empowering because if I don't like what I see, I can change my perspective. And that I can do. Thank you.